We're leaving today and entering a world of Cinderella castle sightseeing, Tron light cycling, Jungle Cruise punning, pirate swashbuckling, Everest climbing, dapper danning, soaring, fireworks show of I'm not crying, you're crying. World of favorites for whatever you love. Infinite worlds await at the most magical place on Earth, Walt Disney World Resort.
I've never felt like this before. It's like you just get me. I feel like my true self with you. Does that sound crazy? And it doesn't hurt that you're gorgeous. Okay, that's it. I'm taking you home with me. I mean, you can't find shoes this good just anywhere. Find a shoe for every you, from brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, and more at your DSW store or dsw.com.
Hello, I'm Edie Allard, a senior brand studio producer at Wonder Media Network, and I'm so excited to be hosting this episode of Womanica. This month, we're talking about cultivators, women who nurtured, cross-pollinated, experimented, or went to great lengths to better understand and protect the nature around them. Within every plant, there is a world. And within a small village in Kagawa Prefecture, Japan, there was a woman who dedicated her whole career to studying those worlds. Spiderwort, castor beans, persimmons, and poppies were among the many species that this womanican examined. She was not just interested in what grew from the ground beneath her, but also how she could break new ground and create new paths forward for women in science. Today, we are learning the life and legacy of Kono Yasui. Kono was born in the small village of Sanbonmatsu, Japan in 1880. Her parents owned a shipping business in the Kagawa Prefecture, a port area in the northeast of Shikoku, Japan's smallest main island. Kono grew up in the Meiji period in Japan, a time marked by rapid modernization and education reform. Girls attended separate schools from boys. Rather than learning about science or math, women were funneled into becoming housewives and mothers. At the time, prefectures were not required to offer secondary education to girls. The message was clear. But Kono's parents were progressive for the time. They valued reading and education, laying the groundwork for Kono's emerging brilliance. Kono's father gifted her a copy of Encouragement of Learning, a book that advocated for gender equality in education. Kono was in elementary school when she digested this dense philosophical text, but the words obviously had an impact. Scaling the rungs of her educational journey, she moved on to the Kagawa Prefecture Normal School, where she discovered her passion for mathematics and science. Nurturing this passion, Kono attended university in Tokyo, where she declared a major in science. She graduated from university in 1902 and was soon after selected to enroll in the school's new research department. She studied under an influential professor, Tomotaro Iwakawa. He encouraged her to study the bone makeup of a carp fish. In 1906, she published her first research findings in the Japanese Journal of Zoology. This achievement made Kono the first woman to ever publish in a Japanese science journal. Following this achievement, Tomotaro suggested that she study the embryology of the leech, but Kono wasn't interested in that at all. She responded to her professor by sharing that she, in fact, hated leeches. Instead, she wanted to study plant biology. So she embarked on her own independent research into the study of plant cells, also known as cytology. This decision changed the course of Kono's life. In 1909, the Japanese Journal of Botany published her research on aquatic ferns. Her paper landed in the hands of Kichi Miyake, a professor at the Tokyo Imperial University Faculty of Agriculture. He was impressed by Kono's findings and thorough research. He offered Kono the opportunity to study cytology under his mentorship. And she, of course, accepted. In no time, Kono was in the lab, cutting thin sections of plant tissue under a microscope and creating her own scientific instruments to measure things like how much water had evaporated from a plant. She crafted and refined her research paper on aquatic ferns, rounding it out with 119 precise drawings. Her paper was published in a British journal, making her the first Japanese woman to ever publish in a foreign professional journal. But there was a dark shadow following the string of Kono's accomplishments. There were scientists who protested her publications simply because of her gender. When a professor asked her to write a physics textbook for high school-age girls, she did. But the Ministry of Education rejected the book at face value, under the assumption that it couldn't have been written by a woman. In a similar vein, Kono was barred by the ministry from conducting studies abroad under the pretense that women were not likely to achieve any valuable scientific discoveries. These innumerable hurdles did not stop Kono from working for what she deserved. She did everything she could to keep moving. After receiving support from a male professor at the same university, she was finally approved to study in the United States. In 1914, she began her studies at the University of Chicago, where she studied botany. Then she moved to Cambridge, Massachusetts, where she learned under a Harvard professor who was revolutionizing cytological research. His methods allowed for the microscopic study of coal. He advised Kono to return to Japan to implement this new technique on Japanese coal. She began researching and teaching. After long days teaching all day and working with students, Kono headed to her night occupation, coal research. She would stay in the lab late into the night, examining coal under the microscope. She traveled to mines all around Japan, collecting coal samples for her studies. She would lower herself 30 meters or more into a coal pit, using a woven rope basket to propel herself down. It was dirty and dangerous work. Even Kono's mother implored her to stop the coal missions. But if it was in the name of research, Kono would not let anything, not even her own mother, get in the way. Kono spent 10 years on the study. She learned how cell membranes underwent the carbonization process, discovering 6 ancient plant species in the process. Her research was a massive undertaking and eventually led her to earn a PhD in science from Tokyo Imperial University in 1927. She was, of course, the first woman to earn this degree. When she accepted the honor, she expressed that she never sought fame or status, but simply, quote, plodded along the path of her own choosing. And her path did not end there. In the wake of her achievement, she founded her own science journal, Cytologia, in 1929. She became the business manager and accountant for the publication. Her scientific work and research continued to evolve and expand to new species. She published more than 90 research papers during her lifetime. At 75 years old, Kono was recognized by the Emperor of Japan for her academic contributions. For many years, Kono lived with her younger sister in Tokyo. Kono retired from teaching in 1952 and was kept company by her microscope from dawn to dusk daily. It was said that when people came to visit her during these years, she would greet her visitors with delicious sweets and cups of specialty tea. In 1962, she became bedridden. But of course, her bedside table held scholarly journals and English-language newspapers. She passed away in 1971 at the age of 91. Kono Yasui grew from seed to bud to blossom, and it all began with words of encouragement. She blazed her path across decades, and when the ground beneath her gave out, she found another way. All month, we're talking about cultivators. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Thanks to co-creators Jenny and Liz Kaplan for letting me guest host. Talk to you on Monday.
Behind every successful business is a vision. Bringing it to life takes more than effort. It takes the right financial foundation and support. That's where Chase for Business comes in. With convenient digital tools, helpful resources, and personalized guidance, we can help your business forge ahead confidently. Learn more at chase.com/business. Chase for Business. Make more of what's yours. The Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC. Copyright 2025 J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
Does this podcast make you happy? Of course it does. That's why you're here. But it only comes out once a week. For happiness every night, you need Adam and Eve. Yes, I'm talking about sex toys. It's cool. You have earbuds in, right? Adam and Eve, America's most trusted source for adult products, has been making people very happy for over 50 years. with thousands of toys for both men and women. Just go to adamandeve.com now and enter code IHEART for 50% off almost any one item, plus free discreet shipping. That's adamandeve.com, code IHEART for 50% off.